There. So, since we have removed all the non-essential elements, all the non-essential symbols of our sheet music, now we have to focus. Now we have only to focus on the notes, and first of all, we are going to find out their duration. So, first of all, to find out their duration, the duration of the notes, we have to take a look at the time signature that we have at the beginning of our piece. And so we have to know, we have to learn what does it mean, what does these numbers mean actually. So in this case, as you can see, we have a fraction in which we have, of course, as in every fraction, two numbers, the numerator and the denominator. So the numerator gives me the numbers of the beats that there are in each bar. So in this case we have 4 as a number, so it means that in every bar we will always have 4 beats. The number below, the denominator, gives me the unit of measurement of the beats. So what does it mean? What does this mean? This means that we have 4, so 1/4 is the unit of measurement of every beat. So it means that each beat lasts 1/4 of a bar. But of course, it also means another thing. In fact, if we consider that we have learned how to represent a sound lasting 1/4 of a bar, which is a quarter note, in this case it means that the unit of measurement of a beat will be a quarter note. So there is a correspondence in duration between the beat and the quarter note, meaning that the quarter note will always last 1 beat, and of course vice versa, 1 beat will last 1/4 note. So this is very important. These two numbers are the essential things that we have to know before we start to consider we can say to finding the correct duration of every note. So this we have to this is the first thing we have to consider, that we have 4 beats in each bar, and each beat lasts 1/4 of a bar, which it means, of course, that it will last 1/4 note. Of course, as we have already said in the previous lessons of reading music, in a 4/4 bar, the total duration of the notes and the rests will always be of 4/4. Okay, so now we have to find the beats of each bar. What does this mean? This means that we have to write them down and to put them correctly inside the bar in correspondence of the notes, of the different notes. Since we said, of course, that the beats of a bar are the scaffold of every music piece. So the second thing after taking a look at the time signature is to finding out every beat, as to write them down correctly in the correct position. So how can we do this? How can we find out and to write down correctly the beats? Since we have 4 beats in each bar, we're going to write above the bar 4 numbers from 1 to 4 corresponding to each beat. So of course the number 1 will correspond to the number 1, and so on. The number 2 will correspond to the beat number 2, and so the second beat, and so on. So let's start with this. Of course, the first bar will start in correspondence of the first note, of course. So in this case we are going to write above the bar the number 1 above the bar and above the first note. So we have said that one beat lasts 1/4 of a note. One quarter note correspond to a quarter note. So of course the first note that we have here is a quarter note. So it is very intuitive that the second beat will occur, we could say, on the second note here in this position. The second note again lasts 1/4 note. We have a quarter note in this case, so it lasts one beat again. So of course the third beat will occur on this other note. This second note is a different note from the first two notes we have seen. This note is the difference is that of course we have a black dot in the first two notes, the quarter notes, and here we have a white dot with a vertical line, which is the stem, the note stem. And as you surely remember, this note is a note that it is called a half note, and also and it is called a minim, which duration correspond to we could say that it lasts twice than a quarter note. So in this case, of course, it will last 2/4 of a beat, and of course it will last 2 beats. So what does this mean? This means that we could say inside of this note, of this minim, of this half note, we will have 2 beats. So the first beat, the third beat in this case, will occur at the beginning of this note, and the fourth beat, so the second one, will occur halfway through the half note, the minim. So we will write above in this position. Then we arrive, we come to the second bar. Here we have a rest. We have a rest which lasts all the beat. So we have a whole note rest. But in this case, we don't have enough information to decide where to write the different beats. So for the moment, we're going on. So we are going to decide this in a second moment. So we arrive on the third beat. The third beat is, as you can see, the third bar, sorry, not the third beat, the third bar is the same as the first bar. So everything we said before about the first beat, it also applies for the third beat. So in this case we have the first beat, the second in correspondence of the first 2 quarter notes, and then the third on the half note, and then we have the fourth beat which occurs halfway through the white note, we could call it. Again, in the fourth beat we have the same situation of the second beat. So everything we said about the second beat applies also if we take even if we take the fourth bar. And then we arrive on the fifth bar, in which we have something quite different, quite different from the first and the third bars. Here we have first of all we have 2 quarter notes, so we are going to write the beats in correspondence of each note, and then we have something quite similar, we could say, quite similar as the first and the third beat bars, because in this case we have a rest, a half note rest instead of having a half note. So of course we know that there is a correspondence between the rest and the note, so we could say that there is something quite similar. We have the same situation. So we're going to write the third beat above at the start, in correspondence of the starting of the beginning of the rest, and of course the fourth will occur halfway the rest. Then we arrive at the sixth bar, and here it also applies. We have the same situation of the previous bar. Then we arrive on the seventh bar, in which we have two half notes. So of course we are going to write the first beat on the first half note, then of course the second beat halfway through the half note, the first half note, and of course the same applies also for the second note. So the third and the fourth in this situation. Then we have the last bar, in which we have a whole note, which is something quite very very similar to the whole note rest. As we said before, in the case of the whole note rest, we are not able, we don't have enough information to determine, to know where to write exactly the different beats. So we're going to stop from a moment. We're going to look at this in a second moment. So before we go on, we could say something that we have forgotten to say. First of all, as you have seen, I have talked only about the above, the higher stuff, the right hand stuff. In fact, I have only taken a look. I only spoke about the first of the two staves, and this is quite important. But if we take a look, if we're going to focus on the sixth bar, we're going to see something peculiar, something very interesting, a very interesting thing. In fact, in the case of the sixth bar, we have written, we wrote all the fourth beats in correspondence of every note of the right hand staff. Okay, but if we want to do the same in the case of the sixth bar for the left hand staff, we can see something quite interesting. In fact, you can see that there is a perfect correspondence between the beats that we wrote for the half for the right hand, yes, and the beats of the left hand staff. In fact, let's take a look at this. Let's try this. We have, first of all, a quarter note rest. So we will have the first beat in correspondence of this quarter note rest. Then, of course, a quarter note rest lasts the same has the same duration as a quarter note. So we will have the second beat in correspondence of the second note, which of course is a quarter note, and it lasts one beat. Then the third beat will occur on this note, which of course is a quarter note, and again the fourth beat will occur in correspondence of this note. So what can we say now? We can see that we have in every piano sheet music there is a precise correspondence between the beats of the right half on the right hand staff, this one, and the beats of the left hand staff. We could say that there is a vertical correspondence. In fact, if we write down a line, a vertical line from the beat, from the number one, we can notice that this line will we could say that it is perfectly on this note and on this rest. And it also applies for the second beat, the third, and the fourth beat. So there is a vertical correspondence in every piano sheet music. So in every time we are going to read a piano sheet music, we always have to consider this vertical correspondence, and this is the key point of reading a piano sheet music and to read both hands. So we have to bear in mind this concept, because we are going to see that it is really fundamental, a basic concept of piano, of course, of every piano course, of every situation in which we are going to to play a song, to play a piece, reading a sheet music.